Ladies and gentlemen, it's Titoclock. So please welcome your host, James Deacon.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si James Deacon. Hi, good evening, good afternoon, hello, welcome wherever you might be in this great big planet of ours. I'm James and the rest of the gang here. We got X, we got Y. We're all complete, and we also got Chris. Yeah, she's in a little early because she's preparing all the highlights of what's been happening out there in our world. So before we get to her, let's say hi to a few Titoclockers who are out there. We got Mayan. Mayan, you made it. You're first. Wow, so cool. And you know what, Mayan? You're second as well. First and second. Ooh. Christiana Williams from YouTube. You're first from YouTube. Love that. So we do broadcast from Facebook to YouTube, and we're streaming live on both platforms. So good to see the people on YouTube. We don't have a very big community on YouTube, but that's okay. We got Christiana Williams out there, and that's enough, right? But slowly building up. Let's say hi to a few more people. We got Lyndon, we got Son, we got Barda, we got Rene. Oh, it's moving fast now. Let me read from here. Rayanne Angeles. We've also got Sam, Lotok, Ariel, Rafael. We got Hayes, Barnuevo, Ferdinand. Is that a one? Natasha Nicole. Hello, Ferd. Dad. We got Echo Cortez. Let's do a couple more. Miguel, and Alvin Chua. All right. So, okay, now Nilo's going to feel bad. So, Mansuli, it's never going to end. Harvey, hi. Okay, bye. All right. We're done. Okay, we're good. We've said hello to our early birds here at the clock. We've also got some great prizes to give away. A 2,000 peso voucher. And we all know that gas is life, right? I mean, it's as good as cash. Gets you around, people, I don't need to tell you what gas is, for crying out loud, and it's free. So stick around for that. Rocket will be drawing that out a little bit later on in the show. He's back. Yes, he's been away for a little while, but he's back now. And well, actually, his mom's been away. That means he's been away, and it's complicated. But he's here now, and he's ready to draw some prizes a little bit later on. I've even got his food here, or his little treat here. Now that I bring that out, he's probably going to be banging on that door any second now. So why don't we start things off the way we always do, which is basically just getting everybody up to date on the same page with what's happening in our big bad world out there. For that, we need Chris. Chris, what you got? This is Titoclock News, brought to you by Malayan Insurance.
Hey, what's up, Tito James? Happy Friday, my fellow Titoclockers. And this is Chris for Titoclock News. Malacanang confirmed today the resignation of Sugar Regulatory Administration or SRA head David Tadeos Alba, citing his worsening health. Alba is the second SRA administrator to resign under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Marcos said Alba's resignation is effective April 15th to prepare the appointment of his replacement. In a press conference, Agriculture Assistant Secretary Rex Estoperez said that he expects the next SRA administrator to also come from the ranks, adding that he hoped the announcement would come in the next few days. Alba's resignation comes after Senator Risa Hontiveros alleged earlier this week that a sugar cartel of government-favored importers were raking in as much as 14 billion pesos in profits. 7 months before this, in August 2022, Alba's predecessor, Hermenegildo Serafica, also resigned from the SRA following the unauthorized signing of an illegal sugar importation resolution. These resignations took place as controversies continue to rock the Agriculture Department, which is concurrently headed by Marcos. Members of the Korean Coast Guard, or KCG, will be sent to the Philippines along with donated equipment to help in the cleanup of the oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. According to the Embassy of the Republic of Korea, this is the first time the East Asian nation will provide aid for the environmental cleanup in the country. It's said the KCG will arrive in the country on March 27th. The Korean government said it will also provide 20 tons of sorbet pads and snares, 1,000 meters of solid flotation curtain boom, and 2,000 sets of personal protective equipment. Last week, the Japanese government sent support for the cleanup as well by sending gear and equipment to be used by the Coast Guard and personnel. The Office of the Civil Defense also said there are other countries who have expressed interest in sending aid for the cleanup. Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, said today that the number coding scheme in the National Capital Region, or NCR, will be suspended from April 6 to 10, which are declared holidays. April 6 and 7 are Maundy, Thursday, and Good Friday, respectively, while April 10 has been declared as Day of Valor, a regular holiday. In a Facebook post, MMDA would set up a multi-agency command center, or MACC, at its metro base starting April 3 to ensure a peaceful and meaningful observance of the Holy Week. MACC will consist of representatives from the MMDA, Department of Transportation, Department of Public Works and Highways, Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board, Interagency Council for Traffic, Land Transportation Office, Philippine National Police, and local government units. The MACC, through CCTV cameras, will monitor actual status of major transport hubs, particularly bus terminals in the metropolis, from Holy Monday until April 6, Maundy, Thursday, when influx of passengers who will travel outside Metro Manila is expected. LeBron James disputed reports that suggested he and the Los Angeles Lakers are hopeful for his return in the final week of the regular season. ESPN and The Athletic reported Thursday, March 23, that the team privately hoped to get James back for the final 3 to 4 games. Officially, the Lakers have said there is no timeline for the return of the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Head coach Darvin Ham said on Monday he expected James back at some point before the season is over. The Lakers began Thursday sitting at 36-37, precariously holding the 10th and final seed in the Western Conference, good for a berth in the play-in tournament. The Utah Jazz are a half game behind the Lakers. 38-year-old James has been sidelined since February 26 with an injured tendon in his right foot. He has missed the last 12 games. The 19-time All-Star is averaging 29.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 6.9 assists in the 47 games this season. Those were the latest in headlines for Titoclock News. Now to check the inbox for our weekly dose of sweet potatoes, brought to us by Kamote Corner. Tito James, nakamute ka.
That's for my own sanity and blood pressure. Nakamute ako. Hear what I have to, I'm sure when I see some of these. But let's go. Let's do it. Let's see what we got out there. What kind of kamotes are out there today? Or this
All
week.
right. So here's the first one. It's tires on the loose, or a tire on the loose. And boom.
All right. Was that sitting there, or did it fly off a car? And oh my God, either
I'm
way.
not even sure where it came from. If it came from another car,
Oh man, yeah, hard to tell.
possibly from another car, but not sure if it's the one in front of him directly.
This is a good video to remind people that you gotta expect the unexpected out there. You see, you can be a very safe person, and then something like this happens. So, not that there's really any foolproof way to get out of it, but just always be
Right.
aware. This is why we say don't text and drive, don't
Mhm.
drink and drive, don't be distracted when you drive, because what happens is when something happens, you have far less of a chance of avoiding it. I'm not saying that this guy could have, right? I'm not suggesting that this guy was distracted or anything. Nothing to do with that. But it's a reminder again of how things happen so quickly on the road. And
Mhm.
so you could be the best driver out there. It's not about you. It's about the idiots or the
Yeah,
bad
other
vehicles
people.
out there. Exactly. So always be aware when you're behind the wheel, you have just one job. Just think about it like that. Don't try
Yes.
to multitask. Yep.
That's right. Let's always stay alert, people. And I think the driver here was alert because he was aware of the tire, but there was no
Yeah.
time to react. So it's
Absolutely. I certainly didn't want to suggest that this driver, wasn't. I'm just, this is just a reminder for everyone else, for other
right. 100%. All right. Hello, Ate Joam. The next one, the caption says, "Pag galing fixer ang license mo." Uy.
Ang sakit yun.
Hello, Ate Joam.
OMG.
It
Like,
hurts.
is that a car park or nagtatakas ba yan sa car park?
Not even sure if like
What on
possibly
earth?
a parking lot and then the
OMG.
driver got lazy.
I don't
No.
know, but OMG, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. Because I don't know. I mean, if he's trying to make OMG, what a, you know how much damage that,
Right.
oh, God, ang tanga.
Tanga is correct.
What would probably be even more painful, I just thought, may not even be that person's car, which is 10 times more painful, no, if that's like either a driver or somebody who borrowed your car.
Right.
Because parang, how would you, I can't imagine anyone, tanga or not, that if you bought your own car and you had to pay for your own car, that you would even consider doing something like this, unless you're running
True.
away from the law or something really, you know, running for your life.
Probably. Baka
Oh my
tama ka
God,
doon, Tito James.
it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
Hard to watch indeed. And my
Oh,
friend said it's dumb ways to die. Indeed.
ways to
Ways to die. All right. The next one is make way for VIPs. Say hey. It's a VIP. Let's watch the next video.
Hey, somebody wants you to do a shout out.
Hi, Joam de Guzman. What's up? That's my friend right there.
All right. So Moses over here, I call him Moses because Moses on a bike. And they
Right.
parked the back, right? What I
Moses.
can't stand these people. I cannot stand these people. Talaga is I can't. Oh God, this gets me. It gets my blood boiling every single time. And there's more and more of them. I know this. Talaga. It's really growing. It's being tolerated, and it's just growing. I really cannot stand these people with everything I have and all of my being, because it's the biggest middle finger. I won't show it na lang, but it's the biggest middle finger up at all of us taxpaying
Yes.
road users around there, or not even road. It's just the biggest middle finger up. That's all. It really
Right.
nothing says screw you. You are so unimportant than this kind of behavior. Mas mga gago niyan. I have zero patience. Ah, man.
You're
Ah,
not alone in that, Tita James. Don't you worry. Woo! Okay, Tita
okay.
James, calm down, calm down. Because the next one, I gotta ask you: have you ever seen a car faint?
No, but now I'm interested.
All right, let's see this one. I've actually seen this photo already.
What's the himatayin ng mga...
Na makita yung presyo ng gasolina.
That's funny.
Haven't seen that in person, but I have seen it in a photo. Thank you for sharing
there?
this one. Not even sure.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, I hope the driver's okay.
Yeah. Dying to know the backstory there, how that happened. Okay. Next.
If anybody knows the backstory, please do share. All right, we got the last one. We have a new mask rule in New York City, I think. Let's see this one. Mapapashish ka na lang daw. Sheesh! Due to NYC uptick in crime, if you wear a mask, no entry.
How quickly times.
Sheesh, indeed.
You know,
Spill it out. Spit it out, Tito James. Ilabas mo yun.
because I just know human nature. Now you see, now they finally took the masks on. I bet you there's going to be a group of people fighting for their right to wear their masks. In other words, they're never happy. They're never when you
No.
force them to wear a mask. they're very upset. And when you
Right.
force them to not wear a mask, they're very upset. So
Right.
to each his own. But you could see this coming a mile off. You could see this coming. Yeah, it was happening here too during the peak of the mask mandate.
Mm-hmm.
You go into especially casinos, and you would have to remove your mask because if
Right.
they enter, you have to remove your mask,
Yes.
show
Yes.
the camera.
True.
And now think about that for a second. Just
Mm-hmm.
think about the logic behind that. So you wear a mask for your protection because you must wear a mask. I'm talking about when we had a mask mandate, not today anymore, right?
Yes.
So you have to wear the mask. It's mandated. You're not allowed, so you have to wear it. Okay, so
Yes.
you're wearing it for your protection, but then when you get to the door, you have to remove it. There's like three
Mm-hmm.
security guards or four security guards around there in that immediate area, right? Doing the
Right.
checks. So
Yes.
3 to 4 guards are being exposed for like 8 to 12 hours a day, whatever, however long their shift is. So all these people taking off their masks right in front of them,
Yes.
and you don't think that that's going to spread. But no, just like the restaurant rule, the mask only worked when you walked in, but once you seated, COVID would go right
Nope.
over. So I don't know what the hell. All I'm glad is that this past stupid pandemic is over. These stupid rules are over with, and we can get back
Right.
to our lives. I finally entered a place last night that up until like let's say a month ago was still asking for vaccine cards. Thankfully, they dropped
Wow.
it. Hopefully, we can now move on and stop
Yes,
being
please.
possessed by
Especially the trains. I mean,
meron
we've
pa
been taking off our. Meron pa.
vaccine cards sa train.
No, no. They ask you to wear mask, not the vaccine card anymore. But still, we're already taking our masks off everywhere, and the trains they're not allowing you to enter unless you have your masks on. So it's just ridiculous,
Mm.
redonkulous.
Next.
All right, there's no more Tita James. We've made it. Woohoo! Congratulations, Tita James. Congratulations in advance to our raffle winners. Stay away from Kamate people, everybody, but choose happiness instead with some Sugar Rush. Follow my events team, everybody, on social media. That's Sugar Rush Entertainment PH for your party entertainment needs. It's right down there. You may also shoot me a work-related DM. This is Chris. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Stay safe, healthy, and hydrated. See you on the next one. Bye!
Bye. All right. Thanks, Chris. That was Chris with the latest in headlines. And that was brought to you by Malayan Insurance. Thank you very much for that. Now we're all up to speed. Pinky has a good little reminder here. I just saw it. I thought I should repeat it because it is hot outside. I think now that the Amihan is past and we're into dry season, hydrate. Just stay hydrated. You probably got some people probably got used to not hydrating anymore because it wasn't so hot and all that. Just remembered that. Okay, good advice, Pinky. Thanks for sharing that. This brings us to our next community little effort. It's called Free Plug Friday, where we give businesses a chance to advertise their products for free. And for that, we need XX. What you got in the box there, X?
Hi, DJs. Hello, everyone. We have so much in store, but before we go there, I just want to say hi to all the vloggers. Welcome to another edition of Free Plug Friday. All right, guys, feast your eyes on the screen. Well, Tita James, actually, you have one of the products there with you. We will actually start with RJ's Chili Garlic. So, Tita James, I'm just going to quickly show it myself here on video. So, this is RJ's, like my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, guys, of course, and guys, this is RJ's Chili Garlic, and of course, we will start the Free Plug Friday with something hot and garlicky. And this business actually started during the pandemic since the owner and his wife love dipping their dim sum in chili garlic. So what they did is that they decided to make their own, which is what we have here. So RJ's Chili Garlic actually comes in 2 sizes. You actually have the big size there, Tita James, the one that comes in a big box. The one that's white, yes, that's actually the one that weighs 500 ml. And this one that we have here, the one I'm holding, is actually the 150 ml. So the one that DJ is actually holding is perfect. So I think there's something, my camera is a little blurry. But
Yeah,
guys, the price is, for some reason, it is blurry. Hold on.
Rocket licked it.
Rocket licked it.
Yeah, I bet you did because it's got that film.
Right.
There.
I just had to like quickly
Yeah.
wipe it. So guys, the price of this small bottle, which is 150 ml, is 120 pesos, while the big one that Tito James was holding a while ago, the price is 350 pesos. And guys, they are located in Novaliches and Commonwealth, Quezon City. But of course, you can send them a message on Facebook or their Instagram page, which is scrolling down below, if you'd like to try it yourselves. And again, RJ's Chili Garlic, Facebook and Instagram. Next, Tito James, we actually have to go to Unmeet. And I have to give it to you right now, live, because it's frozen. It's fresh from the freezer. Give me a sec. Okay, show them that first. Show them that first. That's good.
Yeah, what's this? Look at that. 100% plant-based, unmeat, meat-free luncheon style.
Have to open that.
Ooh, this looks good.
Indeed. So just a little background. Unmeat is actually a brand that offers plant-based products. So Tito James, what you're holding right now is the pizza. You can show it to them closer. I actually have a set myself because they also sent one to me. Thank you, guys. This is so generous of you. This is the pizza, which is margarita pizza. What is that? Tito James,
Margarita
tapa?
doesn't have meat anyway, so that's good. But these
Yes,
ones are
exactly.
interesting.
This one I want
Meat-free
to try because I haven't had beef since 2004. So this is tapa. This is unmeat tapa. And they're completely plant-based and meat-free. So what you have there right now are the nuggets. The nuggets are also meat-free. I guess it's for people who are super serious about their non-meat game, right? If they really don't eat chicken, fish, this is perfect for you. And those are burger patties. So you can actually have a burger and not feel guilty about it. So guys, these are just some of the many products that they actually offer. And the price is 240 pesos for the pizza, 360 pesos for the tapa. The burgers will cost you 135 pesos and the nuggets will cost you 120 pesos. And again, they also have things in can as well. So that's the unmeat luncheon meat. So guys, hope you can check them out. They're available on Facebook, Instagram, and they also are available on Shopee. You can see it scrolling down below. So guys, again, I just want to remind, for those who want to be a part of Pre-Plug Friday, all you need to do is send a message to Deaconitis that's Tito James's Instagram. It's scrolling down there. And of course, we will get your submissions right away. So again, guys, this is X for another edition of Pre-Plug Friday. Stay safe and always sanitize the clockers. Keep safe. Peace out. Bye. Cup kun cup.
Cup kun cup. All right, that was X with the latest in Pre-Plug Friday. As she said, if you do want to have a product feature, only of course if you qualify, we try to keep this only for businesses that really cannot afford. So smaller types of businesses that don't really have a marketing budget. This is just a way of us start helping them kickstart their products and bring it to a wider audience. Just pop us a message here at Deaconitis if you want to be a part of it, and X will take care of the rest. And that pretty much wraps up Free Plug Friday. And it's now time for Ask Me Anything, brought to you by Petron. All right, so we got our Ask Me Anything. We'll take also the live ones as well. So can you guys, if you do have a question, yeah, happy to answer anything here. Well, that's the whole point. Ask me anything. So yeah, let's go. I saw your post regarding the complaint at PDA. May I know our steps on how to file a complaint? PDA. Which one's that? What's? I didn't hear you. But at PDA.
Maybe it's the one from the Philippine Dental Association, right? It's PDA.
A long time ago. No wonder I'm a little confused. Okay, well, we'll assume it's that and not the public display of affection, because I don't remember complaining about that. So okay, if I remember, let's just assume it's that, because I don't have much more information, Patricia. But X, maybe you can remember the details of how we handled that, because we went to the PDA's office it was somewhere in Makati.
Yes.
They gave us an audience. We sat there, shared the case. They then contacted the dentist. And then they did rule that it was basically, yeah, it was. I don't know if they use the term malpractice, but just as a proxy for now, malpractice. And they did agree that it was badly handled, badly done, but nothing really happened in the end, right?
Oh no, they did actually. The first step is Tito James is actually correct. They did give us an audience and they
Yeah.
listened to our case. The only thing that you have to start is you have to have evidence with you before you even come to them for anything, right? If you have substantial evidence, files, documents with you that would prove that the doctors did something terribly wrong, or you feel that it's something that needs their needs PDA's need basically you need PDA to oversee this case. They
Yeah.
will give you a form that you have to fill out, and then from the form you have to say what happened, the details of when, where, what, why, and then they will call you in for a meeting. So the meeting will be just between you and about 4 people, 3 to 4 people from the PDA, and they will ask you how would you like to resolve it. In my case, I just asked them to cover the expenses that that I spent for the hospital, etc. So they will also be asking you the same as how you would want the dentist or whoever wronged you, how basically
And they did the man. No? Did they cover the costs in the end?
They did. They actually did. Oh, but you need to send your receipts.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
So I mean, it was all right. So I stand corrected. There was a refund of the expenses, the out-of-pocket expenses, but there was no disciplinary action or anything to do with the license.
None. Sadly, they didn't do anything. I think part of
Because
them is really there.
was, I think the better term there was negligence, not necessarily malpractice, because it wasn't. The tooth was there was and I remember the term
Ankylose.
ankylose, yeah. So anyway, that's how you go about it. Just to refresh the people who don't know what we're talking about, it was a case a few years back, and it was with the dentist that just negligent regarding the tooth, pulled it, broke it, shattered it inside, and didn't realize
Without doing X-ray, without doing proper diligence.
right. And it turned out it was an ankylose, how you say it, no?
Yes.
Meant that had they done the X-ray, then
Yes.
they would have noticed that it was that, and they would have never pulled it. And it wasn't even supposed to be pulled. You didn't even go in for the pulling of the tooth, right? You went
No.
in for something completely different, and the
Yes.
dentist
Cleaning.
demanded to pull the tooth out, and you begged and begged and begged. No, I don't have the time for this. They said it's going to be fast. There's no downtime.
Yes.
Recovery time is going to be immediate. And it was anything but. And then turns out it was an ankylose thing, which meant the shards were left inside. It was just really painful. And so I guess the reason why I remember this nothing happened was because I didn't feel it was enough to just refund what you went through, because there should have been some form of compensation or disciplinary
Yes.
action. Because if you're just going to pay the expenses that the person incurred, that person shouldn't have incurred those expenses to begin with. There's no compensation. It's just, okay, fine. But no, I felt, but at least we got an audience. I'll give them that. And then we never really pushed further than that. So maybe we don't know what would have happened if we pushed further and said we require disciplinary action. But yeah, that's the experience. Okay, I guess we're good. Next, yeah, of course it is. We do have already some supercars, not necessarily. Well, there's supposedly a couple of Bugatti Veyron super sports here, so I heard. So that would have already brought us up past the 1,000 horsepower mark in terms of production cars. But I know that we have cars here that are modified to over 1,000 horsepower. I believe we had a Skyline that was doing more than that. And so it's highly possible. I mean, it's really, if you have enough money, you can really bore out your engine and improve the horsepower and get it over 1,000. So yes, simple answer to your question, yes. All right. What type of gasoline? I actually just use the XCS, the 95. I don't go for, Yeah, XCS. It's somewhere in the middle. So it's not the extra unleaded. There's extra unleaded, and there's XCS, and there's Blaze. I just stick with the XCS because that's what my car is. It's recommended for that. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You don't do your cars any favor in terms of giving it higher octane than it was designed for. A lot of people think, oh, well, if I give it the premium stuff, it will run better. It'll run as good as it gets. If it's designed for 95 octane, give it 95, because if you give it 100, the other 5 octane is, it's like when you have too much vitamin C. You pee it out. It doesn't do anything. You can't overdose on it. The only way that that works is in reverse. If your car is designed for Blaze and you put in extra unleaded 91, then you might get knocking, what they call knocking, engine knocking. You'll hear it. And that's because it's not combusting properly. But just stick with what's on your manufacturer's handbook and you should be fine. Answer your question again, I use XCS 95 octane. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. I'm very happy with mine, and I'm still due to give everybody a midterm 1-year ownership report. Is it coming out? Is that June? Do you remember it? Is it May or June? When I got the MG. We shouldn't really be yelling across rooms, but basically, I'm due to give you a report card on my first year of service.
April.
Okay, so it's next month. I'll already release the 1-year report. I think that would help a lot of potential owners out there, because I still do think it's one of the most underrated cars that we have on sale out there, and I really do think you get more value for money, bang for your buck, than anything in its price range. That's still how I feel about it 1 year on, and I've had zero problems with it. So spoiler alert, no issues. Nothing but just a very, very satisfying ride, very satisfying drive. There is a little bit of the gearbox thing that people talk about. I think it's more of a personality quirk. It's nothing wrong with the car. It's just a personality quirk that the car has, which you can learn to drive around. Now, if it really, really bothers you, well, there's nothing much more I could sort of do. I mean, that's a personal thing now, but if I put it into sport mode, I realize I get a lot more responsiveness from the gearbox, so it doesn't hunt as much. But X drove it the other when we were away, and we went to Europe, and she drove it, and she was like, she couldn't get used to it because she drives a diesel. Anyway, it's just minor. For me, it's still a great, great, great car. Aurelio cars, obviously, I like what they've done. I like the design. I like, what. But the problem is, every time I try to feature an Aurelio car or the Aurelio supercar, there's always an issue. So I've been invited 3 times, 2 times. I can't remember. It's going back a while, maybe more, through the magazine, through CNN, through different ways. And yet every time we're about to do something, oh, okay, but you can't drive it. That's not a test. So I wanted to feel and see what it was like. I mean, is it really, because you can put horsepower into a car, but it necessarily doesn't all tie in together. So I can't really tell you. I can't give you anything more than what I just see cosmetically, and that's it. Because to drive it, we haven't been allowed to. So that's my experience. Wow, we're getting a lot of questions about electric cars and hybrids and stuff. I did do the WM. I did drive that. I was impressed with it. I just found it a little expensive for what it was, considering that there are now options that are more affordable. The Nissan Kicks, for example. Okay, I know it's not quite exactly the same in terms of, but it's still a full EV, just not plug-in. It just has a gasoline generator, but it's still a EV vehicle. I just found, that's it. Everything I liked about the car, except it was expensive for what it was, and it doesn't really have the brand history here. So, that's moving forward. When you're getting an EV, you've got range anxiety already because it's new technology, and then it's coming from a brand that is not well established here yet. So it could be a great brand. I don't know. Time will tell. But brand, you can only comment on that after it's been established. That's what branding's all about. Is they remain consistent and they behave a certain way consistently for a certain amount of time. So we'll give it a few years before we can say whether they are one of those brands. But yeah, a little expensive. It was over 3 million. Any EV vans coming out soon? I don't know of one coming out right now, but what I can tell you is this. The Chinese market is very aggressive right now on EVs. They are super duper duper aggressive because we've come in with the Avida law, and that's all they were pretty much waiting for. So you're seeing all these new Chinese cars coming in with EVs because they see the opening, they see the incentive. And once the roadmap for our Avida law has created a roadmap for EVs in this country with incentives, they're all bringing in all their models and stuff like that. So I'm sure it won't be long before we get an EV van. So haven't tried it, but I love it. I love the look. I love the whole, we're talking about Rivian. Is there an existing law about e-scooters less than 50K? Yes, there are. Yes, of course. They are not allowed. Simply put, they're not allowed. They just keep doing it. So they're like the tricycles that are still not allowed on national roads, but they just keep doing it. So you're not going crazy. They're not allowed, but yes, you see them on the road doing it. So it's a question of enforcement. That's it. So the Ford Transit. Okay, Chris. Well, if they did that, I mean, there's EV vans around the world for sure, but here locally, I think they're asking locally. But definitely, if we get all it takes is they're just waiting for the incentives, and the incentives are finally coming, or they've arrived already. Coding, discount in tax and motor vehicle user charge, all of these types of things make more sense to bring in EVs. So I'm sure something's coming very soon. Thanks for sharing that, by the way, Chris. Yes, it's true, Abby, they are. But this is another thing you have to know about that is there are hybrids out there, let's say like the Geely Okabanko, that says hybrid. But technically speaking, they will only go by what's on the ORCR. I don't know what the Okabanko says on the ORCR, but they have a small little thing, but it's a mild hybrid. Now, if they have it in the ORCR, then you're exempt from coding. But if they just brand it as a hybrid by putting that, like have that little electric motor that just powers up certain lights and stuff like that, it's not really driving the wheels. It's not really considered a hybrid. If it doesn't say it in the ORCR, it's not exempted. That's the only caveat. Next. Hey, so Mayang Amores Amistoso, happy birthday, 47th birthday. Yes, you can get a greeting from me. I'll say it again if you want to record it. Happy birthday, Mayang Amores Amistoso. Happy 47th birthday. Thank you for spending it with us here today. You see, that's another one that's kind of a mild hybrid, Jeff, but I did confirm with Suzuki that is in the ORCR. In fact, it was them who I got the information from because I really wanted to get to the bottom of it because it is also considered a mild hybrid. I drove it. I like it. I think it's a good purchase for you. I didn't see any dramas with it, but yes, the only thing I was wondering is, was it enough to get into the coding exemption? It is. So if you're looking to buy it for that, then definitely, because the Ertiga's already been a good model, even when it was a full gasoline version with no hybrid option. So this has just sort of upped it up a little bit. So it's made a good car even better. And I wouldn't have no hesitation in recommending it for you if you like the shape and if you like the configuration, etc. Because of course, that's very personal. But as a vehicle, and Suzuki, of course, make very good cars. Give or take, how long do you think Philippines are accepting or embracing EV trend? How far along are we? We're probably in the first, not even 1%, but it's moving in the right direction. I doubt we would even hit anywhere near 1% for vehicle sales. So I sincerely doubt that. I will double check the figures, but I would very much doubt that. Having said that, there's also some infrastructure issues as well that we just don't really have. We have some malls doing it, but that's not enough. We need more than just some malls offering free charging and free parking. It's great, don't get me wrong, not sounding ungrateful, but it's not enough to develop an entire EV platform or an EV program that people actually adapt. Somebody spoke about the jeepneys before. John, I think we talked about this was last week. Just a short recap, just for the people who heard it already. In theory, I do support it. In reality and in practice, I think both sides are playing games here. Put it that way. That's a short version of the answers. I think both sides are playing games. I support the modernization as an idea. I support the whole. We need to get into the 2023 already. I mean, we need to stop giving people free passes on emissions, crash safety, all of just the hazards that come with having a old jeepney like that. Having said that, I just don't think that the government is really answering the direct concerns of the jeepney drivers. That's the middle ground there. But then on the jeepney side, I think they're also milking it too much. I think they're just being unreasonable too, that they just don't want to modernize. So they're not meeting halfway. So there's the problem there. Is there also the government's not doing enough to listen to their concerns and address them, and then they're just making more noise about it. They're just saying it's all about livelihood and stuff like that. Well, that's true. It does affect some livelihood, but the environment affects everybody. So we have to at some point balance this out. But we need to give these people a soft landing. That's just the responsible way of doing things. Is right. Every time you're going to make big adjustments like this, for example, in the United States, when they're going into like full autonomy, they're trying to look at ways where they could provide a soft landing for the people who will be displaced, because there's going to be, like the trucks, when they become autonomous, it's going to displace about 3 million truck drivers in the US. That's 3 million people times 5 or so of people that will be affected by it, because you've got their families, you've got the truck stops, you've got all those roadside diners and stuff like that, all throughout Middle America. That will all pretty much cease and be affected by the autonomous trucks. So smarter politicians, because not all of them are smart, are trying, and people with heart, are trying to provide a way where the technology that's coming in, right? Because autonomous trucks will make so much money, allocate some of those profits that you're going to make into providing a soft landing for those who will be displaced. It's just the right thing to do. Because if you yank out this, rug pull them, and this is where I think they're having a problem with the modernization, is there's still some element of rug pull, even though we've been talking about it for many administrations, not just this one or the last one. It was being brought up even before that. The thing is, because nothing's really implemented, and then they just drop it and then they leave it for the next administration, it's still going to feel like a rug pull. They need to have a program where they give the drivers a soft landing, because, well, we also created this problem as well. We can't just blame it solely on the jeepney drivers. We allowed it to happen, so therefore we have to engineer it in a way where they don't get like a rug pull and there's a soft landing for them as we transition into new technology. So if the battery operators and the battery makers and the EV makers of the jeepneys are going to make money out of this, they should have to allocate, in my mind, a certain percentage of their profits to providing the soft landing for the jeepney drivers, so that we can finally move on. But you cannot skip that step. That's just my thank you, cats. I appreciate that. They say electricity, and that's another thing, Christopher, you bring up a very good point, and I talked about this as well. Electricity supply is now thin, and so there is also that issue. We mentioned this, I think, a couple of shows ago as well, and I want to talk about it again, because in California, during I don't know if they're still doing it now, but at the height of the Ukraine war, which is still going on, there was rationing, and so California state government were saying that you cannot charge your EVs, or you were being rationed to charge your EVs. I mean, come on, if that's your only car, and then now you're told that you can't use electricity because it's rationed, that's a huge problem. Now, we are here in Asia, in the Philippines, we are the second highest, roughly between second and first highest in electricity costs. So it's not necessarily swapping one for the other is going to save you money at the moment. And then we also have to look at the whole production process of it. What are we still using to create electricity? We're still using a lot of coal. So we got to get rid of that before we consider ourselves a greener option. So you can hide all these in the details and in the chain, but at the end of the day, you got to look at the whole farm to market type of thing, or in this case, battery to road type of production, where you can figure out where the impact is. Because if you're just displacing the impact of the environment to different areas, like, okay, well, it's zero tailpipe emissions, yes, but now you have a factory out there that's killing fish or whatever wildlife out there because you have a smelting plant trying to make all these batteries, and then you're burning coal. See what I mean? You're just sort of moving things around, moving the problem around. That doesn't help. Oh, the Bitcoin one. Aha. What can you say about Bitcoin and other digital currencies? You see this as good investments for the long term. Okay, let me start off with a disclaimer, not financial advice, because I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Do your own research all the time in any type of investment, especially crypto. With the disclaimer out of the way, you want to ask my personal opinion, and this is not a professional one, this is just a personal one. I think Bitcoin is perhaps going to be the only safe asset moving forward because of counterparty risk. What I mean by that is the banks in the US are insolvent. Okay, this has already been proven with the collapse of Signature Bank, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, the collapse of Credit Suisse as well. You're seeing all of these banks starting to collapse, and this is by design because the economy has been so overheated with the Fed printing money. They just printed another $18 trillion just recently. Think about that. They're devaluing the money. So when they devalue the money, they're inflating it, right? They're inflating it and inflating. So your money is buying you far less. The wake-up call for people here, and I think this is a trigger moment, is there are people in the US, and I speak about the US first and only now, and because sometimes the rest of the world tends to follow. But in the US right now, more and more people are starting to realize that their money is no longer safe in the bank. And they do this for many reasons. One, the Fed and the FDIC, which is their version of the Depositors Insurance. And we have PDIC, they have FDIC, which is the Federal Depositors Insurance, right? They have on hand $125 billion to protect and insure 18 trillion worth of deposits. You don't need to be a financial guru to do the math. So you can see how people are feeling vulnerable. And they asked Janet Yellen, who is the Treasury Secretary, they asked her, which banks are you going to bail out? And she says, well, we'll have a chat with the president and we'll decide. So you can see now politics is going to come into it. There's a big thing happening here right now where all the rural banks, because they bought treasury bonds to save their money, when during the pandemic they had a lot of money, right? There was a lot of stimulus, a lot of money going in, and there was not a lot, the economy wasn't moving, so they were buying treasury bills, right? They're buying all this bonds, treasury bonds. Now, the problem with the treasury bonds is every time they raise the interest rates, it affects your treasury bond. So the banks were counting assets. I'll try and make this as simple as possible. The banks were counting assets based on what they purchased them at and at what they were at their peak. They are no longer that. So when they're claiming that this is on their balance sheet, that let's just round it up to $100 billion, it's not worth $100 billion. And because of fractional reserve, they are lending out 90% of your money. So if people come in to get their money, they're insolvent. They cannot match it. They cannot possibly pay you back. And so now more and more people are seeing this. Okay, that's the backstory. So where are people going to now focus on? They call this a shelling point. A shelling point is when humans coordinate without actual coordination. It's like when you say there's a fire, everybody runs out to the exit and goes to the front door. Nobody's talking about it, and they wait outside the building. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody says, hey, you, let's go down here. But people just know. If it's raining, people go to the shelling point, which is undercover. You don't need to talk about that. People coordinate. Well, Bitcoin is becoming the shelling point because they're looking at every asset that can be manipulated. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is not is not erratic. It's erratic, but these are market forces that are manipulating it, not political forces, right? Not pushes of a button. Nobody can control that. So market forces are fair, and because Bitcoin is a very new asset by consideration to the rest of the other assets, it's still a little volatile, but it's going to find its place. So what I'm saying is, yes, it is a safe haven for people to put some of their investments in, but always be smart about your money. Don't put everything into one asset. You need to spread it out. If a recession hits and the economy overflows and inflation goes through the roof, you want to invest in hard assets. Hard assets are usually real estate, gold, silver, Bitcoin. And that's pretty much, safe. Bitcoin, because it doesn't have a person involved, so there's no counterparty risk. So I don't know if that helps explain it, but I do believe in crypto. I really think that this is the way forward, but I say this with a lot of caution because if you don't have a long-term frame of mind, if you're not thinking long-term and macro, zoom out, then it's not for you. You are going to go crazy and you're going to lose money because it goes like this. And if you hinge and tether your emotions to this, you are never going to get out of this alive. You will age so fast, and I guarantee you'll tap out. But if you look at it in a macro point of view and you can afford to park money for 5 years or so, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset. Actually, they're saying ever. Because if you look at it, even with the volatility, it's falling forward, falling up. Even that it's come down. Look at it from 2008 when it was released, or 2009 to now. It's just been the most appreciating asset out there. So I keep a little bit in Bitcoin just to be exposed to it because I don't know how what will happen in the US affects us here. I'm not that, I said, I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't know. But I do see the pictures is pretty clear in the US. They're imploding right now. And this was all forecast by financial experts because you cannot print that amount of money without having tangible work behind it. It's just going to fall apart. And now we're seeing it fall apart. Oh, you're welcome, Brenda. That's right, hard assets. So keep into your hard assets. Now, real estate can also get affected, but again, macro, long term, there's no safer place to put it than real estate. But you have to always have a long-term view with these types of things I'm talking about. Now, if you're a trader, this is a completely different discussion. I'm talking about people who are just trying to have a store of value. And that's what Bitcoin is. It's called a cryptocurrency, but it's really less than a currency than a store of value. And that is why you would invest in it. You're not necessarily going to pay for your coffee at Starbucks with it. But some people say, oh, it's not practical, whatever. It's not meant to do that. There's hundreds, thousands of other cryptos that you could use for transactions and stuff. But Bitcoin is a store of value, like you would have a chest full of gold back in the day. That's what that's replacing. It's modern day digital gold. Next. Well, we've been talking for a while, so. Done properly? Yes, done properly. That's the key word, and that's where all the devil lies in the details, right? So, yeah, I think so. But I also am not an expert. I just know that if done properly, nuclear is a very efficient and safe way of doing things. And I don't think you could also, just like investing, we're talking about personal investment and spreading yourself out. The same goes with the energy sector. You don't want to be a country that just goes 100% nuclear or 100% solar or 100% wind. You don't do that because you have a single point of failure. So in a case like this, yes, we should have our nuclear, we should have our wind farms, we should have our solar, we should have different solutions for different areas. And this is also circling back to the EVs. This is what is happening with in the motoring and transport sector, is there's going to be more than one solution for moving forward. It's not necessarily going to be all EV because different countries have different natural resources. They have different needs. So you might find that some will work better with hybrid, some with EV, some with biofuel, some with hydrogen. So many different solutions to solve the same problem. And that's why you have to look at putting together a basket of solutions all the time. All right, Chad. I guess that's time. I guess that is time. Well, Joan, thank you very much. I mean, I do try to keep up to date with it. I'm just very careful about what I post because I guess a lot gets lost in the details. That's why I love podcasts, is because you can spend time explaining. Whereas usually when you make a post about something, people read the headline and they're going, oh, sabi ni Tito James, maganda yung Bitcoin. Then it goes down. It was 28 and then it goes down to 25. And they're like, tangina si Tito James, so walang hiya yun. And they're like, dude, just, that's not what I said, but you got caught up in the hype. If you want to study this, you need to invest not just your money, you need to invest your time in learning about it. Don't just put your money into what a YouTuber said or what I say. You got to understand from your position, because I'm talking to you from my perspective only. If you're the type of person that lives paycheck to paycheck, Bitcoin right now is not for you. It's too erratic. You're gambling at the moment. And I say that as a fan. But if you're spreading it out over a couple of years, 5 years, if you could spread out 5 years, historically, all the data is on your side. All of it. It is the best performing asset on planet Earth, commodity. Do we do the raffle? All right, it's everybody's favorite time. It is raffle time! You're too polite to eat from my... Here we go. Here we go. Oh, you get fed even before you work. Look at that. Look at that. Show everybody your face there. Hey, everyone. Rocketeer here, ready to draw out the raffle. Thanks, Eugene. Had that song since the beginning of Titoclock in 2020. Missed you. I missed you last week. You know what we had to do last week? We had to do your photo here last week. This is how we did it last week, Rocket. We did that. Now, we're here. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. This is for you. But you have to press that button, okay? Somebody's gonna win $2,000. Julio, Mato, What's that? Oh, I guess it can count. Oh, no, it can't. No, that's not fair. Sorry. No. Yeah, because obviously you picked it from the wrong. Yeah. Okay, redraw. Sorry, Patilio. Oh, look. It's Tito Rocks. Hi, Tito Rocks. Hi. Why are you looking at me like that? There you go. Tito Rocks said hi to you. Pocket! Look, say hi back. Are you ready? Are you sure this one's for Petron? I have no more gifts for him, huh? If he bites me, I'm telling you, I'm giving him back. At least look. Alvin, Benita. All right, Alvin. You're officially a Petron winner. Yes, he's like a real stuffed toy, this one. He is. He's a good boy, isn't he? He's a good boy. Who's a good boy? All right, well, that pretty much wraps up Titoclock for today. Hope you guys had fun. I hope you are winners out there.
Send a message to Rocket.
Oh, yeah, sorry. If you are the winner, you have 24 hours to claim your prize. Just send a message to Rocket on IG. That's d.rocket.launcher. with screenshot as proof. I love this. Rocket for president. I love it. Okay, that's all we have time for. We'll catch you guys next week. Till then, be kind to one another and drive safely. Bye.
Fancy meeting you in my internet. Couldn't help but notice your smile, while everybody else around us is surfing about. Can we just stop and chat a while? Love could be waiting at the end of this quarantine. Let's stop and talk a while. Let's stop and talk a while.